All right, as we've been saying all morning, we are now joined by Sports Minister Nathi Mthethwa. This is to chat about the saga or the loggerheads that the Members' Council at Cricket South Africa as well as the interim board find themselves in with regards to the composition of future boards of Cricket South Africa, as was the recommendation in the Nicholson report that was released. Minister Mthethwa joins us now via Zoom line. Minister, thank you so much for your time. You had a meeting with both parties, the Members' Council as well as the interim board yesterday. What was the resolution? Minister, I'm not too sure if you are getting me at this particular point.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Minister. Thank you so much.
The reason for the meeting to start with was the sense of discomfort and concern I have when the interim board and the Members' Council of Cricket South Africa seem not to be talking one and the same language. And I discovered when I met with them yesterday that there was a bit of a confusion relating to the attitude towards the Nicholson work. And I sought to clarify that these interactions are not really about negotiations of the principle in the Nicholson report, but the modalities of implementation, especially when it relates to the constitution of the board, where quite clearly, not only Nicholson, the general practice in good corporate governance is that you now have in boards independence. And the Nicholson recommendations talk about the majority of the independence in the board. So we clarified that, and I said to them that they have to go back to the drawing board, both of them, and after these Easter holidays, be able to come up and talk the same language, moving from a very clear premise that we cannot bend backwards when it comes to the principle of the constitution of the board and the separation of the president of the Members' Council, Cricket South Africa, and the board itself. So those were the areas. But I did say that I did express my disappointment that we've covered quite some ground since the last time, since we appointed the interim board. There is no way that at this point we experience what we are experiencing. And I said the tussle and the conflict which are characterized by boardroom politics must come to an end in favor of the players, in favor of the sport cricket itself, that people should swallow their pride and prioritize sport.
Minister, you spoke about the attitude towards that Nicholson report, and the Members' Council has previously defied you publicly, even with the appointment of this board, before they eventually came to their senses, so to speak. But how confident are you that the deadline given to them of the 6th of April will be met?
Well, there's been some indication to that level of people wanting to do their own things, but we have been able in the past to nudge them. Because we emphasized even yesterday that it would be important that people work towards stabilizing sport cricket in particular, and know that there is no one amongst us and amongst them and everybody else who's bigger than cricket. We are steadfast on what needs to be done, and we are resolved that it has to be done because it's the only way that we can take cricket back to its glory days. As we speak today, cricket, this heavyweight within ICC is nothing. It's not even a lightweight today. Our standing globally has diminished. Locally, all what is being said about cricket has been chaos and more chaos. So we've come to a point that this is the time to end that.
Yes.
So we do that by following processes of nudging people because we don't want to find ourselves in a situation where we have no option but to act and act decisively.
In the interest of time, Minister, what are the reasons put forward by the Members' Council to have a pushback, to reject these recommendations? And is there a middle ground somewhere, or is it a no compromise type of situation from your end?
Well, firstly, that there's a view that there is no need to have the majority of the independents in the board. Even if you have them, they shouldn't be in the majority. Linked to that, it's a complaint that even when you have this majority, are too huge in majority. Now, I think that the second point, there can be a middle way to that, but the principle should remain. And this is the point we're making yesterday. The principle should remain that in the board, the independents must be in the majority. I mean, South Africa is in the league of Australia, of New Zealand, and these countries have the majority independence. ICC itself. So why should South Africa go its own way, which is no way, basically, because it's a way that's proven to be disastrous. And we can't allow that.
Now, Minister, the Cricketers Association, SACA, has also come out in strong support of the recommendations and your stance. How important is it to have the players or have the players buy in what you're saying?
It's extremely important because, you see, we made this point in the meeting yesterday that the Members' Council should be living in an environment and in a society where all of us live in. It's not only the players, and that's a very huge boost. It should be knocking sense to everybody that we should be moving from this point. And that's why I said, go back and rethink your position, because it's not helpful currently as it is. We want you to come on board. We don't want all this thing about this noise about you at loggerheads. Every step of the way, I've noticed that the Members' Council have raised a point or two, sometimes seen as trying to block the process. And the process cannot be blocked. But I am urging Members' Council to think for the players, because in the final analysis, when things get to a tough point, it's players who are going to suffer. So please, let's not do that. Let's think for them, not only the current players, but think for players in posterity.
Okay, Minister, in about 30 seconds, it would be remiss of me to not ask this question about the relief package or stimulus package with an amount to the tune of 300 million that is unaccounted for. You have announced that there will be an investigation. How far are we with that?
Well, let me correct. It's not that it's unaccounted for. 300 million rands is there. Part of it has been dispersed. Another portion is being dispersed as we speak. What happened is that we allocated 300 million rands to NAC, and they opened up the applications more than 300, almost double 300 million rands. That's where the problem is. It's the gross negligence and mismanagement of the funds which are there. And as a result of that, there is a shortfall. This is why we have resolved, and I've said it very clear, that we are going to institute a forensic audit which is going to deeply investigate this so that those who are liable for whatever and for whatever reason they were motivated by to do this mismanagement face the full might of the law and the processes of government. There is no way that artists are going to suffer when they have money and people are mismanaging it.
All right, Minister, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it this morning. That's Minister of Sport, Nathi Mthethwa, talking to us in bulk about Cricket South Africa and the issues that are there at this moment.